Bombs going down, but this smoke is actually a problem for Na'Vi as they get spammed right through it. Wonderful needs a clutch, and he might be good for it. 5 in the mag, and into the face. 4 kills for Wonderful.
He got it. Tetris. Up air. Up air. Up air. For that.
3 kills already, and well, it doesn't look too good for PaperX. You might think this is an eagle, but it's not. The weaker weapon of Forsaken, good for 2. Maybe more to be found, but nobody low. He's 90 HP, finding another 3 health out of 5 for Forsaken.
What are esports? The concept of video games as a spectator sport is still relatively new, and the rise of esports has transformed how we experience gaming. With just a few clicks, it's easy to tune into a highly produced and well-polished broadcast and watch professional players compete in your favorite games. But where do these tournaments come from? And how do games evolve from casual pastimes to full-fledged esports? In this video, I'll explore the professional scenes of several popular esports titles, examining how these global phenomena impact their respective communities. I'll also take a closer look at an upcoming game and apply these insights to see if we can predict what its esports scene might look like in the near future. Up first, I would like to explore the game Valorant.
He's even touched the flash. APM off the bloody charts from this guy. Making sure that nobody can really take in adjustments. Right! Giacomo! Goodness me, man! What is that finish?
Valorant is a 5v5 tactical hero shooter developed by Riot Games that blends the cartoonish, upbeat styles of games like Fortnite and Overwatch with the serious tactical gameplay of Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six Siege. In Valorant, players select agents at the beginning of each match, each with unique abilities. This allows teams of 5 to coordinate strategies while also giving individual players the opportunity to specialize in different types of agents. In a typical Valorant match, there are 2 teams of 5 players each, one on defense and one on attack. The attacking team wins a round by either killing all of the defending players or by planting and detonating the spike, which is a bomb that detonates after 40 seconds. The defending team can win by either killing all attackers, running out the in-game timer, or defusing the spike before it detonates. Teams switch sides after 12 rounds, and the first to win 13 rounds wins the match, with special overtime rules applying if necessary. The Valorant esports scene is an interesting example of a growing competitive environment, which is exactly why I chose to discuss it. Riot Games initially ran open qualifiers for Valorant tournaments, meaning almost any team of 5 players, assuming they met a few guidelines, could compete in a professional tournament. However, Riot recently shifted to a franchised model for its esports scene. Franchising guarantees teams a spot in major tournaments like the Valorant Champions Tour or the VCT, allowing these teams to compete year after year against each other. This is very similar to different traditional professional sports leagues where teams compete annually, same as like the NFL, for example. There are several key takeaways from Riot Games' approach to the Valorant esports scene. First, a large portion of the funding for the teams and the prize pools comes from in-game purchases made by players. Every year, Riot releases special skins players can buy from the in-game shop, including team-specific skins, with a portion of the proceeds going towards the organizations that own the teams. Not only does Riot Games directly fund these large tournaments, but they also produce and run them. As I mentioned earlier, the Valorant Champions Tour is a yearly tournament that is fully managed and run by Riot. Valorant was developed specifically to be a competitive esports title, and Riot decided to take a very hands-on approach by managing its scene directly and deciding to be involved within every part of it. So, 3 defining characteristics of Valorant's pro scene are, number 1, franchise teams. The same teams are in the league year after year, with lower division teams having the chance to move up and play with the franchise teams. Number 2, Riot Games produces and runs major tournaments. The largest Valorant tournaments of the year are organized and managed by Riot. And 3, Riot Games funds the teams and the prize pools. The money to pay teams and fund prize pools is primarily raised through these in-game purchases. However, Valorant is only the first example of a game I would like to look at. Next, I would like to explore Counter-Strike 2.
But Jimmy in a 1v4, not long for this world.
He's whittling everyone down, but he's so low himself. He can't do a thing here. He was just looking for the money, really, for Maus.
Oh, the cello.
Cello just wasting his time.
Wait, they're on it.
Crazy
He can
shot.
win.
Hang on. Backstab him from
He's done
Impact.
it. He's done it. He's won the round.
That is madness. 1v4 at 5 HP, and he threads the needle to get past Ben.
Last bullet.
Counter-Strike 2 is a 5v5 tactical first-person shooter developed by Valve. Counter-Strike 2 is a successor to the games CSGO, or Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and Counter-Strike 1.6, building from their fast-paced shooting mechanics and strategic gameplay. Similar to Valorant, Counter-Strike is another game that utilizes the bomb planting and defusing formula, with straightforward rules and endless possibilities every game. Players are aiming to plant or defuse the bomb and eliminate all of the enemies in a best of 25 round game, almost identical to Valorant. The big difference between these two games is that in Counter-Strike, you have to buy any abilities you want. They aren't agent specific. If you want a smoke grenade and a flashbang, you can buy that and you can have both. The Counter-Strike esports scene is different than Valorant, however. Teams are not franchised, and Valve is completely against tournaments having partner teams, which are teams that are invited to participate within these specific tournaments. The unfranchised league formula allows any team with any sponsorship or players to rise up to the top and compete in the largest tournaments of the year, whereas franchise leagues may have financial requirements for the team to join. The leagues work more in line with a meritocracy, where the teams must perform well enough in different online or open qualifier tournaments to secure spots in later tournaments. This presses teams to stay relevant because after bad seasons, the road to bigger tournaments might become a lot harder and a bad team won't make it as far. It's a common stereotype that in a franchise league, bad teams will often stay bad for multiple seasons and the level of play doesn't get very much better because teams always have their spots secured for next year. Without franchising, though, there is a lot more of a dynamic, ever-changing team roster with some fun underdog narratives sometimes and individual player spotlights. Valve supports their game, though. They're known to sponsor these events, and there have been many different in-game purchases and cases, and Valve even supports the streams for these tournaments. So, our three defining characteristics for Counter-Strike 2 would be 1. Unfranchised teams. Any team can participate in open qualifiers to compete in the major tournaments. 2. Valve supports and sponsors these tournaments financially. And 3. Valve does not directly oversee and organize these tournaments. These two games share very many similarities between the professional environments, and both have seen major success for as long as they've been around. However, there's another game I would like to look at that may be the complete opposite of a previous game we've looked at, Valorant. This game is none other than Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Happy feet, wombo combo. That ain't Falco. That ain't Falco. Where you at? Oh my God! Wombo combo. Oh, get your ass whooped.
Super Smash Bros. Melee, released in 2001 for the Nintendo GameCube, is a fast-paced platform fighting game which has a very large influence on the esports world. Unlike Valorant and Counter-Strike 2, which focus on tactical shooting and team-based mechanics, Melee is a technical and skill-intensive fighter. Players control iconic Nintendo characters like Mario, Fox, and Sheik to battle opponents in many different and familiar environments. The goal of the game is quite simple: knock your opponent off the screen by using many different character-specific attacks. What sets Melee apart from other contemporary fighting games is its focus on very precise and difficult mechanics and techniques such as wave dashing, L canceling, and chain grabbing. These advanced mechanics are what allow Melee to have such a high skill ceiling and what keeps competitive play so entertaining even after more than 2 decades. The esports scene behind Melee is a lot more unique when compared to Valorant or Counter-Strike. The tournament models operate completely independently from the developer Nintendo. Many tournaments are local events created out of love for the game, with some larger tournaments like Genesis, the Big House, and EVO. All of these tournaments operate outside of the franchised model, with many players not having any team sponsorships. Because of this, the scene relies heavily on the community and local events. The scene is perpetuated by more local tournaments, which can serve as a stepping stone for players to make a name for themselves. This type of model creates a more friendly environment and stronger community and allows players to become nationally ranked despite having no financial backing. Nintendo's minimal involvement in the scene has both benefits and drawbacks. Tournament organizers have had pretty much complete independence on how to structure and run their events. However, having no official support means that securing funding or gaining official tournament licenses is incredibly difficult. There have even been occasions where there are issues with Nintendo attempting to shut down events. Despite some of the issues, the community is still very strong and the support for this game is still growing. Some defining characteristics of Melee would be, number 1, no franchise model. Any player can compete in tournaments. Some larger tournaments may even be completely open to join. 2, no support from developers. Nintendo has no interest in the continuation of the Melee scene. And 3, community driven. Every tournament and event is driven by the Melee community solely for the love of the game. Now that we've looked over a handful of different games and what their esport models look like, let's take a look at a new game that doesn't have any official esports community, Deadlock.
This mid-structure, and these kills are really important here. Pugilife Scumbria will lose together very early on, and the push continues here. Buff and Joy is trying to catch more players who are disengaging. There's nowhere to go here, so Frozen Shelter it is, but this fight cannot be won by the Kelvin. Litz is going to get taken out, and that's going to convert into a Walker here for Buff Enjoyers. Taking down all of these structures, the base is getting absolutely demolished here. Oh my goodness. It's just all melting so quickly. It seems unfair.
In Buff Enjoyers, laying it on in, half of the HP gone. The title of King of Europe now in play. Buff Enjoyers, just a little bit more onto the patron required. It's going down, 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 and meet the new King of Europe.
Deadlock is an upcoming 6v6 third-person MOBA hero shooter developed by Valve. Deadlock mixes strategic gameplay of games like Dota 2 and League of Legends with the hero shooter gameplay of games like Overwatch. The goal of this MOBA is to destroy the patron in the opposing team's base by buying and upgrading your abilities. There is currently no official tournaments for Deadlock yet, only small like grassroots events run by fans. So on a scale of like Melee to Valorant, where do I think this game will end up? It's actually both an easy and difficult question. The easy answer would be that it will probably be similar or almost identical to Counter-Strike or Dota, because Valve also developed those games, so they might just have the exact same outlook on the professional side of things. I think it's probably safe to say that they will not want to have any official franchise model like Overwatch or Valorant, so no League. So my official guess as of December 2024 is that it will fall somewhere between Melee and Counter-Strike, probably closer to the Counter-Strike side of things. But the best thing the Deadlock community can do right now is just consume more content about the game and continue to play it. I'm sure there will be some sort of tournament once the game officially releases, and maybe if I get my rank up, I can compete in that. But for now, I think I'll just keep playing with my friends and having a great time. I hope you had a great time watching, and thank you so much.
Oh my gosh! That's self-destruct! Okay, Mango is back. Mango's back. He's back. He's back. He's back.
Whoa!
He's back.
Whoa!
He's back. It doesn't matter. He's still alive. He's back. He's kicking him.
You believe in the flow of the game, D1? Because I believe the flow of the game is firmly in Mango's court right
That
now.
momentum, oh my gosh. Wow. Jump start.
We're not getting a 4-stock, are we?
Leffen, are you going to go out like this? And the crowd cheering for a 4-star. This could be it. This is it! Oh!
4-star! Is this man the truth? Is he the truth, D1?